Legal issues are common, and attorneys are expensive. Legal Shield offers access to experienced attorneys to assist you at a fraction of the cost that you would pay otherwise. The Legal Shield mobile app makes accessing legal services easier by putting a dedicated law firm in the palm of your hand. Using the mobile app, you can call your dedicated law firm to discuss personal legal matters, from neighbor disputes to consumer finance matters and more. Legal Shield provides 24/7 legal access to an attorney in emergency situations. You can upload and send documents for legal review, such as rental agreements and speeding tickets, and even begin to prepare your will with the available questionnaires. Members and non-members alike can access our free legal forms, create and send legally binding agreements, and use our virtual legal chatbot to receive answers to commonly asked legal questions. Legal protection is just a tap away with the Legal Shield mobile app.
What does that thin blue line mean to you, Kyle?
To me, that thin blue line is the line that the sheepdogs walk on to protect the sheep from the wolves.
So you're kind of walking the middle of protecting the people that can't protect themselves and keeping the ones that might want to harm them. You're the guy to take care of
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
And it'd be really nice if
The rest of the sheepdogs on that line would maybe take care of one of their own.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. See you later.
Today is Thursday, May 12th, 2022, and we're here to talk a bit about an experience we're in the middle of with Hopkins County after an on-the-job injury from my husband.
I'm Kyle McBride. I work at the Hopkins County Sheriff's Department at their jail as a sergeant on night shift. My background is I became a law enforcement officer in 2009. I worked as an investigator for the United States Army before going to a city law enforcement agency, followed up by federal law enforcement where I did protection details and was an investigator. I worked as a federal law enforcement officer for the DOJ in Dallas for a short time before leaving and going to work for the Hopkins County Jail. My total time in law enforcement is approximately 12 years.
And I have a background in corporate finance and operations, currently working on the executive team for CPG brand out of Atlanta. So in January of this year, my husband was injured in the line of duty. It caused an internal injury that led to a stroke. The workers' comp claim was denied by Hopkins County in March of this year, and the reason cited for the denial was information supplied by Hopkins County, including witness statements, to the insurance company without any documentation being provided to us. The workers' comp insurance process did not include a physical exam of Kyle, only based on medical records, which included notes from our physician tying the injury to the stroke and the workers' comp claim itself. After the denial and no information was provided, we submitted a public records request to Hopkins County in order to get the information we needed to file our dispute in an attempt to get the benefits we've paid in for. The public information was not released, and it was escalated by Hopkins County to first their lawyer and then the Attorney General of Texas. We are still pending a ruling from the Attorney General. Since that time, we've submitted additional public record requests unrelated to our workers' comp claim, which have also gone unanswered and currently pending review from their lawyer as well by Hopkins County. We requested 3 formal inquiries that include at least a combination of 30 documents, and at this time, the only record that was released to us was my husband's own personnel file, even after escalating the requests and our concerns to the Hopkins County Chief Deputy and District Attorney's Office. We had high hopes at the time of the injury that Hopkins County would support us through my husband's recovery, and are deeply disappointed that that has not occurred at this time.
Some of the requests that we asked the Sheriff's Department for included a use of force incident in the jail on an inmate, where the inmate was restrained and either the sheriff or one of the investigators put their foot on the head of the handcuffed inmate. Further, later in that day, I was taken aside by the sheriff and was told that if I had the opportunity to take the inmate off camera and do something along the lines of beating him up. Obviously, that never happened. Further, another request that we requested was that footage of the arrest of the inmate that escaped in Hopkins County to verify that all officers conducted themselves in appropriate manners. This request was also denied.
The inmate escaped totally out of the jail?
Yeah, and was on the run. It was like.
Where'd you have the fight with him?
So I was a separate inmate.
Two different
Yep.
Two different things. My fight with the inmate, where the sheriff was involved, that was in booking. So that's all on camera, including audio. But they obviously are refusing all that because it shows wrongdoing.
What is their reasonings behind refusing your records request?
For the records we requested related to the workers' comp claim, they cited things that ranged from anti-terrorism because it was recording from inside the jail to policy-making communications under Texas code because we asked for documents related to the determination of the workers' comp claim.
Do y'all have children?
No.
And I don't know if that matters, but you know it kind of does matter, because if you'd had some children, it kind of made the situation really even worse. And it just seems like to me, from listening to your story today, that they don't really care.
Well, and the unfortunate truth is, with his condition, the doctors are saying it's based on the injury. The outcome of the stroke is likely permanent, and he won't be well enough to raise children.
Well, that and the neurologists are saying that I can never go back into law enforcement. So I'm stuck as a 31-year-old that has had been a law enforcement officer my entire adult life, and trying to find a new career to go into if I'm ever even released to go back to work.
That was going to be my question when you brought that up. Is have you heard from anybody, or do you know at this time if you ever are going to be able to, or when you might be able to work again?
As of now, neurologists are just saying not for the future.
They say it takes a minimum of 2 years to understand the permanent damage from the stroke, so it's fair to assume at this point, between now and 2 years, we've just got to focus on recovery. And we filed for federal disability benefits, but they would prefer workers' comp to pay, so we're kind of in a circular tug of war about who's supposed to pay the benefits.
Oh, so that even sounds like you've made contacts to everybody that you can think of to help you, and it's kind of, does it feel like maybe you're just getting handed off to the next one, and then you go to that one and they hand you off to the next one, and you're just going in a circle?
Yeah, they're all saying the other person's supposed to pay. And nobody's paying. I'm paying.
You're
personally.
paying. Wow.
We're paying by selling our house. It's really an unfortunate situation.
Well, it don't sound good, and I hope you can get it something resolved with this, because just us being United States citizens, and especially with Kyle with his military service and him putting his life on the line for us to be able to enjoy the freedoms that we have, and the oath that he took to protect us to be able to do what we're doing today. You would think that same oath would go in reverse and protect you when you're in your time of need, to me.
We'd hope so, but that's not where we're at today.
All right. Well, that sounds pretty good to me, unless y'all can think of anything else you want to add to it.
I only wonder if it's worth mentioning that Hopkins County fired him.
Oh,
Yeah, I
we
mean,
left that out.
it's
So
essentially.
they've fired you during this process of waiting to see.
I was out of the hospital for about a week and a half before they called me to fire me.
Yeah, they terminated his employment and had us turn in all of his equipment before he was released back to work after they had denied workers' comp, even though I had notified their HR department that we would be filing an appeal. So while the status of his employment and eligibility for being like inactive on workers' comp was pending, they went ahead and terminated him.
Well, because to me, most of the interactions that I've seen in this world where an officer involved in any kind of situation, whether it be them hurt or investigations going on about using too much force or whatever it may be, it seems like the ones I'm familiar with are just what do they call that? They
It's
send
on
you
like
home
admin leave until it's all
until
figured
it's
out.
all figured out totally before anything's done. So it seems strange to me that they laid you off or fired you or whatever we want to call it until it's been resolved. Seems strange.
Yeah, they didn't hold his position. They've already hired or promoted other people into his sergeant seat at the
Well,
jail.
and the turnover rate at Hopkins County Jail is so high that they don't need to let anybody go to open positions.
Yeah, they're
I
always.
mean, it seems
understaffed.
like there's somebody quitting every other week.
Yeah, I mean they had a whole shift walkout like 2 weeks ago, like on the spot,
Wow.
like all but two, like more than 50% of the shift.
All but one person.
Yeah.
What year did you start working there, Kyle?
2021.
Okay, so you weren't there.
I wasn't there very long.
I'd noticed back in 2018 that the city and maybe the sheriff's office, but I know the police office were all in a $415,000 settlement over
Tasing the guy and killing
So
him.
what happened was from what I've been told, Hopkins County Jail requested assistance and the deputies didn't respond. The police department responded and they're the ones that tased the individual. And so from that point forward, the police department won't respond to the jail, respond inside the jail for calls.
Wow. And you know, most taxpayers don't ever hear about stories like this or that. You never see that in the Sulphur Springs paper or
of
Sulphur
course
Springs
not.
radio or any of the local papers and radio.
We've reached out to all the local news agencies in the
won't
area
touch it.
and nobody wanted to touch this.
That's a good point. Have you spoken with any attorneys or anything about maybe helping you get this resolved?
We tried to find a workers' comp attorney, but we found out that Hopkins County is classified as a non-subscriber to workers' comp because they pay into like a private insurance pool. So workers' comp attorneys are few and far between, and those that deal with non-subscribers and government is even smaller. So we weren't able to find representation, especially because there's like settlement limits, and it's all based on a percentage of the injured employee's wage. So there wasn't enough money in it for lawyers to want to help us, plus the complexity of suing the people they work with a lot.
I understand. I might have missed it. Did you bring up to us on what your background is?
Just briefly, that I have 13 years of corporate finance experience, and I'm currently a finance executive at a manufacturing brand based out of Atlanta.
And your title would be what?
Controller.
Controller of, like an accountant?
Yep.
So it'd be easy to say you're pretty much dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's and just trying to document everything that's happened and bring it up to everybody you can think of that might help.
Trying to collect all the paperwork and match it up, and we just want to do the right thing and focus on Kyle's recovery and get his benefits active, because without them, it puts us in a really bad way. So, you know, paperwork, I do a lot of contracts you have to be good at to be an accountant. Like, I spend a lot of time reading and dealing with very technical requirements, and as far as I can tell, I'm just very confused as to why benefits were denied.
Well, is this situation trying to take care of this issue taken away from your ability to work or have income?
I had to take almost 2 full months off work. Kyle couldn't drive.
For this issue?
For this issue. I mean, Kyle was in the hospital for 9 days and I barely left his side. I had family fly in to look after all the animals on the ranch. After we finally got home, like, new medicines, new doctors, new therapies. He couldn't drive, couldn't remember much of, like, just how to take care of himself day to day. And while he's making progress, yeah, the first 8 weeks were really hard.
So you've had to do all this on yourself. The county hadn't supplied anybody to help with Kyle's.
There's no in-home benefit. I mean, because there's no workers' comp, I didn't have anybody, no nursing to come in, no housekeeping budget. I mean, thankfully we've got a few good friends that are local, but beyond that, it was just the two of us trying to hold it all together.
Wow. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story with me today, and we're going to try to get it out to all the local people that we can to let them be aware of that this is not the way Hopkins County, or really any county, ought to treat their previous employees, I'm sorry, and just citizens in general even. So we'll be keeping in touch with you, and y'all can update us on what, you know, happens in the future, and maybe just getting this out to the local public will help put some pressure on the county to just do the right thing.
Yeah, we eventually filed our dispute or request for review with the Department of Workers' Comp without the information from the county, and we're hoping that our medical records and his care team opinion of it being related to work is enough to get the conversation going. But we're still waiting for that to be scheduled with the Hopkins County insurance adjuster and the Department of Workers' Comp and then us. So hopefully mediation goes well, but at this point I'm feeling a little discouraged.
And talking about witnesses having problems getting the FOIA request for the reason why it was denied and the witnesses and everything, do you have any doubt that maybe all the witnesses haven't been talked to? Like your doctor, for instance, did they contact him?
Not that I'm aware.
Okay.
Well, that, and now that Hopkins County has been sitting on this and doing what they're doing, my concern too is the witnesses that I had, you know, as being a sergeant, my officers, they've had a chance to all been talked to now by administration. So how far are these witnesses that witnessed the actual altercation?
Oh, and these officers that were under you at the time are
Yes,
still
sir.
employed
Yes, sir.
with Hopkins County
Yes, sir.
Sheriff's Office?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
hopefully some of them maybe do the right thing, and I'm gonna ask them to, at the end of this story, to come forward and, you know, them do the right thing and try to feel like it was what they would do or hope would be done if the situation was reversed and it was happening to them right now.
Yeah, you know, and the other thing that's really disappointing is Kyle's injury and then his stroke. You know, there was 2 weeks in between, and during that time, while he was at work, he complained about his head and neck pain. He reported the injury to the chain of command and no paperwork was done, no medical treatment was given. And the morning I took Kyle to he worked nights, and so the morning he got off, there was an individual at work that point blank said, "Hey McBride, are you having a fucking stroke?" And nobody called an ambulance, nobody called me as his emergency contact, nobody took him to the doctor. So, like, the real heartbreak of all this is the 2 weeks between the initial injury and onset of symptoms and the true stroke. I mean, who's to say if the stroke could have been prevented? Like, it's just a really unfortunate set of events, and, you know, I really was hoping that they would do the right thing, but time and time again, they just turn their back on him, and I don't understand why. And, you know, the stroke, you know, I'm not a doctor, but I have to wonder if it would have been so bad if somebody had acted the first time he complained about pain.
Right, and it's my opinion from the studying that I've done on situations like that, that when the law, by law, says that you're supposed to report accidents like that immediately when they happen, and that report is supposed to be taken right as soon as you tell them about it.
Well, not only did I report it to the head jail administrator, I reported it to the captain at the jail, as well as their on-staff nurse.
And you never once had to seen them sign any paperwork
No,
of
sir.
your statement?
No,
and
sir.
have you sign that statement as
No,
well?
sir.
I mean,
I don't think that's right.
the county paid nurse made a joke about it being a brain tumor.
Wow.
Didn't even like do a full checkout. But my point is that everyone in his environment knew something was wrong, and they all failed to act. And as licensed peace officers, like, or jailers, like, isn't there a duty to call an ambulance? I mean, the jail and the hospital are like a mile apart from each other. I don't understand.
I don't either, and as we're here, I had talked to Kyle earlier. On his wall in his garage, he's proudly got a Thin Blue Line sign. What does that Thin Blue Line mean to you, Kyle?
To me, that thin blue line is the line that the sheepdogs walk on to protect the sheep from the wolves.
So you're kind of walking the middle of protecting the people that can't protect themselves, and keeping the ones that might want to harm them. You're the guy to take care of
Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir.
And it'd be really nice if,
The rest of the sheepdogs on that line would maybe take care of one of their own.
yes, you support that. From me talking to you about it this morning, you really believe in what you told me your feelings about the Thin Blue Line are. And with you feeling that strongly about it, it'd just really be nice, like you just said, if the people that were in your Thin Blue Line, protect and serve, the people you can depend on and depended on you, it'd really be nice if you could depend on them now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I can't think of anything else we ought to add to that unless y'all can.
I think that's it.
Cool.
The Thin Blue Line is a symbol representing the men and women of law enforcement who hold the divide between order and chaos. The black space above, which on a flag is speckled with stars, represents citizenry and order, while the darkness below, crime and anarchy. Running between them, a thin blue line that keeps them apart, separating the chaos from the order. The Thin Blue Line flag is flown to show support for our heroes in law enforcement, and serves as a consoling reminder that they will always be there to protect us. For those who walk it, the Thin Blue Line is a reflection of courage, a pledge of brotherhood, and a tribute to those who have fallen in the line of duty, affirming their memory lives on in the courage of the brave who continue to walk every day that narrow channel between order and chaos.
Hey guys, before we get in this video, I want to introduce hopefully one of our future sponsors. These are Big Mule Wipes. They're quick and easy cleanup for just about anything. They're love at first wipe. And I tell you what really got me interested in these folks possibly becoming a sponsor of ours is when I got to reading all the stuff on the back. They're real wet, they're real big, they're real good. Everybody loves mule wipes, and especially we've got politicians and lawyers and bankers. If it will clean that crap up, I mean, what else can you say? So anytime you need to do any cleanup around the house or anything, please get a hold of Big Mule Wipes. We need them as a sponsor, and be sure and let them know we sent you. When you need some cleaning done, check out Big Mule Wipes. They clean up about everything. We hope to have them soon as one of our sponsors. Don't forget, Big Mule Wipes.
That's all, folks.